In a short period of time, the number of tall mass timber projects in the U.S., both those built and those being designed, has grown rapidly. As the industry experts at the hub of this growth, WoodWorks has seen a variety of reasons for the interest and use. Although cost and aesthetics are often at the core of these decisions, there are many associated factors, such as framing configurations, code navigation, and sustainability, which all influence how and when mass timber is used. This video shares the experiences of 3 tall mass timber projects and points to the future of how tall mass timber can help solve housing needs.
Mass timber is this wonderful material. We've largely built out of dimensional lumber, concrete, and steel. So it was very exciting to our team to be able to actually design something in a new material.
The number one thing that we were thinking about in concept for our project was product differentiation. We're developing in a really quickly growing neighborhood in Denver, and there's thousands of multifamily units under construction all around us by massive national builders from all over the country. And so we have a tiny little chunk of this neighborhood, and we just wanted to do something different. And so we were first struck by the aesthetic differentiation of mass timber. Just the exposed wood is a beautiful product. So first it was aesthetic differentiation, and then we started learning more about the environmental impacts of mass timber and how it compares to traditional construction types in a high-rise, and it was just a no-brainer to go mass timber.
Mass timber is also very sustainable material, which it was really important for us to be highly sustainable in everything that we were doing. But our real target was to try to provide housing, create, design, build housing for the missing middle. And that is the people that are between 80 and 120% of the average median income. And most housing is not designed to be affordable by that group of people. By going with MPP and doing independent testing, we were able to move the column spacing from about 10 by 10 to 12 by 15. And so we eliminated 47 columns per floor. It was significant. Every single one of these components adds up to millions of dollars of savings. So if we were to build a building conventionally using concrete, it would cost $100 million. We are able to go with a point-loaded, i.e. no beams, for the next 3 floors, and it was incredibly fast and very cost-effective. We said, this is it. This is what we're going to use to build our 18-story building, which is now under construction.
We knew we were going to be building in Type 4B. We had to be at 12 stories for our project in Denver to make sense. And a big challenge when we started that deal was dealing with that 20% exposure limit where you can only show 20% of the ceiling. It wasn't financially feasible. It defeated our product purpose. And so we kind of linked up with this coalition that had already spent years and done a tremendous amount of work and research with the International Code Council to prove out mass timber. And they had done some new fire safety testing and had proposed a new amendment to the 2024 IBC, basically saying we should be able to expose 100% of the timber in Type 4B construction, which goes up to 12 stories, which is where we sat. Luckily, we were able to get that approved for 2024. And so we took that back to Denver, and our development team went to the city and proposed that we adopt this provision that'll be happening in 2024. Early, and Denver is, as I mentioned before, very encouraging and excited about mass timber, and they voted to approve that unanimously, and so Denver became one of the first, if not the first cities in the country to allow this new provision for the 2024 IBC where you can expose 100% of the CLT up to 12 stories.
This was a Type 4C project, so you think simple, everything's exposed, and yet there's all these different relationships and connections that need to be thought of as well. The codes, despite our best efforts in that ICC Tall Timber Building Committee, we hadn't clarified exactly what it means to have a 2-hour connection and to have fire joints that are protected at those moments. And what does that mean to have, joints that are fire protected without putting that ugly little red caulk around the edges of those 2 pieces of beautiful wood coming together? Like, who wants that in their project, right? So it was a really tricky balance between all of those different issues. And we wanted to make sure before we went in for building permit that that we had a solution that the City of Seattle Building Department would accept. And I really have to acknowledge the cooperation and the good faith and the effort that the City of Seattle put in. They were really amazing. I would call them design partners on this project. There's an incredible set of resources. WoodWorks is an amazing tool, amazing group of people that are really dedicated and really focused on really helping move and advance mass timber forward. But I would be patient, and I would not try to do it halfway through the project. I would not try to introduce mass timber as a, well, maybe we can do it later kind of thing. I would do it, make sure it's in the beginning, make sure you have the right team. A lot of times people call me and say, Susan, how do you do this? And I'm like, please don't call me, but call WoodWorks. You know, there's a lot of really good resources out there.
I think that with this exposure limit being increased to 100% up to 12 stories, I think that cost-wise, mass timber really starts to compete in multifamily with concrete and heavy steel in that 8+ story range. And so I really think that there's a new opportunity for folks in cities who are able to expose 100% in Type 4B to build multifamily up in that 8 to 12 story range. So I'm really hopeful that when folks are looking to build multifamily in a high-rise application, that mass timber is one of the options that they're looking at alongside concrete and steel.
So it's incredibly sustainable. It is incredibly strong. It uses much less energy. It's a wonderful product. So we look at it as being a way to build buildings faster and for a lot less money in the future. And I think as people sort of get over the beauty of the wood and they start to get into the practical nature of this product, you're going to see a lot more buildings that are designed and built out of this.
In 5 years, I see hundreds of 8 to, I'm going to call it maybe 15-story, 12-story buildings, certainly in that range, and maybe a few of the taller. I do think there will be some taller buildings. There'll be more ascents that are going through a performance-based criteria, and I'm really excited for that. And I see a lot of buildings under 18 and under, and I can't wait to be part of that story.